and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Chris Palm Kelly.
Hi, everybody.
I gotta tell you, this self-defense thing in here, that's gonna be the new craze in the nation.
Yeah, I saw a couple of kids dancing.
Palming?
Yeah.
So they weren't using self-defense methods, they were using a self-defense method as a dance?
Well, I mean, whenever you're throwing your hands in the air and going, palm, it's definitely, I mean, it's cool.
I mean, that you could have defeated the Phantom of the Opera with the palm. Because you know how they put the noose around your neck? If you just kept your arms up.
Yeah, then now look at me. I'm dead as a corpse. I'm as dead as disco because of that. Thank you, Mark Hoffmeyer.
I gotta tell you, the scenes in this film where you could hear a palm in the background, that made me so happy. Like, when you're first watching the first 37 minutes of this film, One Cut of the Dead, which is a one take, 37-minute zombie film, you hear a palm randomly in the background sometimes.
Yeah, you can hear it if you're paying attention, but yeah.
Didn't that make you laugh the second time around when you thought about it?
It's really neat because I mean, you watch this movie 2 to 3 times. You can hear things happening in the background that you wouldn't have caught the first time around, especially with the character when she explains that she's doing the self-defense videos, and one of them is that she puts her whenever she's being approached by an attacker, she throws her arms in the air and yells "Pum!" And whenever you watch the movie the first time, you find out that she's snapped and she's actually doing this while people are trying to hold her down. And then when you watch the movie the second or the third time, you can hear her actually saying these in the background of the movie while it's being shot for live broadcast. And it makes it so much more fun.
Now, I have a question. You recommended this during our Shadow of the Vampire episode. How did you hear about this movie, One Cut of the Dead? Was it because of Shudder? Like, how did this get on your radar? And then you recommended it to me.
Well, I saw this streaming on Shudder, and I was just looking for movies to watch in general. I just saw the front cover, which is the actor of the movie. His name is Higurashi.
Yeah, Higurashi.
He's just holding a camera pointed right at you, covered in blood. It says "One Cut of the Dead" written in cartoonish letters, and the whole screen is yellow. I thought it was just goofy, so I decided to give it a shot one night, and I watched it. I was like, "Holy cow! Like, this is really funny and really cool and very heartwarming story all at the same time."
What was your when I watched it, I learned that it was like the making of a movie, then it goes back and it shows the making of that. So I kind of went into it expecting that. Yeah. What was your thought going into it with no expectations?
I thought that this was really stupid at first. Because it's written, I mean, it's shot like an amateur zombie movie, and we've seen a gajillion of these. I mean, any streaming network will have them.
Yeah.
So I thought that it was one of those, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And about like 10 minutes into it, I realized that they haven't cut. It's just one take, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I haven't seen this in a while. So I was watching the movie, and I was thinking that, well, they're probably doing the same thing like in Silent House. But it just continues, and the movie just continues and continues and continues. And I just thought this was so interesting. And then when the movie ended, much like everyone else, and one of the actors actually said this in an interview, was people who have talked negatively about this movie because they stop it after the 37-minute mark because they don't realize that the movie continues.
Yeah.
So I thought the same thing. I was like, I thought this movie's supposed to be 90 minutes. And I was like, I'll just continue watching after the credits because I always watch the credits. And then the movie then starts. The real movie begins. And I was like, holy crap, that was funny.
Nice.
And then, then you actually see the real film, the making of this film called, I think it's, I forget what the actual film within the film is supposed to be called.
One Cut of the Dead.
Is it called?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Gosh, where's my brain? But yeah, then you actually see them talking about this, and he's talking, the director, Higurashi, is talking to the exec saying, we want to make a live zombie film, one cut. Can you do it? And I just think that's so funny because he's just like, and then the director says, do you say you want me to do this one cut take?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And then they push in on him, and he's just like, well, can you do it? He's like, I love how the music kicks up. He's like, hell yeah, I can do this.
and he's too nice to say no. Then his wife, calls him on it.
Yeah, they give him shit for it.
But I like that he's known for fast, cheap, and decent productions. I mean, that's the thing though. So the director in this, what I like about him, super nice dude in this, the actor, Takayuki Yamatsu, I love that guy. He's such a welcoming and nice presence, and I love when he goes crazy as a director. Action!
Yeah, it's so funny. He just busts out of the door.
But if you think about it, that's not a bad way to work. Fast, cheap, and decent. Listen, I'll get it done fast. Don't give me much money, and it'll look exactly like you need it.
Well, yeah, if you know where to put the money. Then
it won't look great, but I'll make it look totally fine for cheap and fast.
Yeah.
That's not a bad
No, I mean, that's how a lot of movies are made anyways.
Yeah, I like that's his motto. It probably gets him work.
Probably in the universe of this movie, yeah. He probably does. I mean, he shoots a lot of commercials. And
then during when we see at the end the actual production of One Cut of the Dead, the 37 minutes for that. How did you know? All right, so we watched Shadow the Vampire. We've watched other movies where they make movies, right? I watched Wes Craven's New Nightmare, where the camera, like, they're shooting inserts from a wide, which doesn't make sense for an insert because you want to get like. So you have to suspend disbelief. But in this movie, just the way that everyone was running and the camaraderie, I thought the PAs in this movie, I'd hire them. They were great. I love the hurrying of all this, like the actors. It felt, obviously you couldn't get the sound that they got watching it, but it felt good. It felt real. It felt fun to me. I didn't sit there going, it doesn't work like that. I can't suspend disbelief. You know, like I can't, like, it felt real though.
If you've worked on a film set, then it's like, this definitely would, I mean, if a low budget, non-union, this would definitely be probably how it would be. I
would hire these PAs and the makeup people on every shoot I ever did in my life. Yeah. They were good. They hustled.
Yeah, they moved fast and quick. Cheap too.
Yeah. and more than decent. Well, I guess they just did decent, but during a one take.
That's budget, really hard to do.
I mean, this isn't Atonement. This isn't Hannah. Yeah. Where you have $100 million to work with. Yeah. This is a low. I don't know what the budget for One Cut of the Dead was for the Zombie Network.
Probably like 10,000, I would say.
Yeah, but they hired professional actors, right? In this, supposedly.
No, yeah, you're right. They would, because in the realm of the movie, they are actually professional actors. So probably maybe like $500,000.
Yeah, probably most of it goes to the actors and the rehearsal times because they got to get paid for that.
Yeah.
But it's man, I love this movie. I can't wait to show my students this movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie, especially like as far as wanting to understand like film production. If you want to make a cheap film, it's all wrapped in there. I love the history behind it, which was Shinichiro Ueda. He had done a lot of independent films. I think he's mostly known for the movie Rice and Boobs, which was like a 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour movie about the dramatic decision if you could choose one for the rest of your life. I'm not really but that movie worked for him somewhat.
But
he made that years ago.
Imagine that pitch to a skeezy producer.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of producers were lined up for that because that does sell. But he then years later decided to go to the EBNU seminar, which was a training school. I guess you would consider that similar to our Full Sail.
Yeah.
He went there, studied briefly, graduated. Then he wanted to make an independent film, and he was going to use this as training for other students to learn how to act in a movie, to do a little bit of special effects. And he hired literally unknown people. The only person I think who had done anything, I read an interview with an Indonesian website, Kaori Nusanatara.
So Aika, the actress?
No, I was talking about the website.
Oh, got it.
But the person who had any actual experience other than the director was the lady who played Ko, Nozugaki Nagaya. But she was only an extra.
Oh, I read that article where she had done some brief extra work.
Yeah, and the other guy, what I thought was funny was the guy who played the cameraman. He said that I was the local idiot. That was pretty funny. But other than that, no, everybody else was just part of this seminar, and they just wanted to do something to show that they could do it. And they were going to use this as, I think, training for the seminar. It'd be like, hey, look, this is what they made. Wow. And then they sold it to a film festival. So they showed it in a small Japanese theater for 2 weeks, and it was only supposed to show for, I think, 6 days out of those 2 weeks. And it was such a huge hit that they then shipped it off to other countries.
Yeah, they targeted 5,000 admissions, but then it exceeded 2 million by the end of that October and made 1,000 times its original budget before DVD sales.
Yeah.
So this movie cost 25,000, and then it pulled in a total of 27 million. Worldwide.
Isn't that nuts?
I mean, it didn't.
That's pretty crazy. To be like a student film made that kind of money. It's a student film.
I hate that didn't come this way.
Well, I mean, it did make its way to America. It's had its American release in October. They sold it to Shudder, I'm assuming because Ueda thought that he would get more money.
I think they only released it in like 9 theaters around the country here. Because I was trying to look up the box office. But I think it's smart now on Shudder because what I think is smart about this movie is it's becoming a word-of-mouth film. So on this, sometimes they say that Netflix will bury a movie in its catalog, and then someone finds it. And then they go, wow, did you see this? And then it becomes this word of mouth hit. So I think this is going to be big, not just for the movie, but for Shudder as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because this will bring people to go see it, because you can't get it anywhere else.
I've only ever seen... I saw this to rent at Videodrome, but they only had the Blu-ray, because I wanted to get it to see if there was possibly a commentary, but there wasn't one.
There's a Blu-ray of this?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the only thing you can get of this. You can get the Blu-ray, but other than that, they never released it on DVD.
I guess
from what I understand, that could have changed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how fluent or how good their English... Their English is much better than our Japanese. I can guarantee that.
I listened to a lot of interviews with this director.
He knows a lot more English than we know Japanese. Got it.
There wasn't a lot of English.
A commentary might be tough to listen to then.
Yeah, there would definitely be subtitles. It was interesting when you said about the tickets being sold. Do you know where they got him for that interview?
Where?
He was going to see Star Wars.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. He was at a film festival.
Yeah, that's so funny. They weren't even showing his movie, and they're like, "Hey, that's the guy from One Cut of the Dead." They just stopped him to do an interview. He's like, hey, I didn't have anything to do with Star is Born. Like, we know. It's really funny. I read the whole interview. He's like, I didn't have anything to do with the movie. And they're like, yeah, you're the guy from One Cut of the Dead. He's like, what? You saw that? That was pretty funny.
Why do you think it made so much money? So, all right, I was thinking about this. You got the low-budget Blair Witch Project, right? I just read a book called Best Movie Year Ever about Blair Witch, where some UCF students hired a few New York actors, went out in the woods. I mean, they did this for months. They shot a short. They got funding. But they were essentially fresh out of film school. And that movie became... I mean, that movie exploded. $250 million domestic.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of that had to do with advertising.
Yeah, and the year beforehand, small film festival, stuff like that. Yeah. This movie, though, why do you think it has connected with audiences so well?
I think it's because, well, in my opinion, the zombie genre is dying. It's not dead. It's almost dead, in my opinion. I mean, no one really cares about zombies anymore. And, to see another zombie movie that's actually good and funny and brings life to it, makes showing people having fun. I think people are more interested in watching people having fun now as well. Just from my general observation, that more films that people are enjoying their lives and doing something creative together as a family. I think people are becoming more attracted to that as opposed to like depressing death. And it's like, yeah, I think that's the reason why people are more attracted to this. Why a student film is making so much attention, I think a lot of that has to do with, people just liking to see whatever they see. And this does have an interesting front cover, like I explained. So you're attracted to that. It's like, I've never seen a zombie movie with a bright yellow color.
Yeah, that's
cover, and you're like, what? And the front cover doesn't even scream like horror or comedy. It's just kind of like you look at it like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
And just learning the process. So you watch it, then you watch the process of it being made, and then that makes
you have a good time.
So happy because you remember all the mistakes from it.
Yeah.
And, like just staring off in the world, you have the sound guy pooping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was funny because what's really funny was that when I saw this movie, I was like, there's always someone on set that's like, they have to know where everything is. They just come walking up to you randomly and they're just like, where's the bathroom?
I hate
where's that. Where? No, where is it? And you're like, I don't know, man. Go over there. I think I saw a 4-banger over there. Are you sure you saw it? Because I need to know where it is. It's like, I thought that was funny because it's like, yeah, I've definitely had people that did that.
And the pleasant surprise is when he said he can't drink hard water. He needs soft water. But the thing is, he wasn't just being a brat who needs that. He
really can't. He really can't drink.
So when I learned that he had the wrong water, and that's when he had the craps. I'm like, oh, so he actually he's like, I emailed you. You didn't read the email?
Yeah.
I mean, no one reads the emails on these. Like, did you get my email? Like, oh gosh, like this is the indie guy.
Yeah, right?
No,
like, why don't you bring your own water?
I just love all the times they had to waste. And I love the gaffes in it. I remember when I was watching for the first time when the wife stood up with the axe in her head.
Yeah.
And Harumi stands up with the axe in her head, the palm mom. And then she just drops. I remember watching that going, what is happening? And then when Higurashi looks at the camera, keep rolling. And you're like, who's he talking to? So it had enough weirdo moments in it.
They keep pushing in on, oh gosh, what's the name of the lady?
Mao?
Is it Harumi?
Oh, you talking about the actress?